In the world of psychology, there's a really famous framework called the Four Horsemen. This was actually something that was devised by the psychologist Dr. John Gottman, and it's a really famous way to predict an imminent breakup in a personal relationship. In this video, what we're going to present to you is the Four Horsemen of your sales apocalypse. Before we get started, subscribe to this channel and like this video. Let's go. Welcome to the Dub Channel, where we educate, entertain, and elevate CEOs, entrepreneurs, and sales leaders just like you. Just to give you a little bit more context, the Four Horsemen, as according to Dr. Gottman, in an imminent breakup are these four stages. Number one is criticism. Number two is defensiveness. Number three is contempt. And number four is stonewalling. And what's really interesting about this is that when you study this from an interpersonal relationship, there's a direct correlation that occurs between the relationship of a seller and a buyer. In this video, we're going to unpack the Four Horsemen to avoid your sales apocalypse. And in case you don't know the famous biblical story of the Four Horsemen, it's basically a metaphor of four failures that result in the demise and apocalypse of mankind. In this video, we will not be talking about the end of the world, but what we will be talking about is how to avoid the end of your sales career. In fact, we'll do the opposite, which is how to make your sales career absolutely thrive. So, without further ado, these are the Four Horsemen to avoid in your entire sales process. Number one is not being prepared. Going into a situation where you don't have the right content, the right videos, the right sales process, the right funnel system to ultimately create a machine to convert your prospects into your clients is going to be a massive potential failure point. Number two is not listening. Listening is one of the most important things in the overall communication process. If we don't listen to what people's needs are, there's no way that we can serve them. And number three is not letting go of your ego. Having an ego in the sales process is something that is only going to get in your way. It's going to prevent you from hearing information that can ultimately inspire you to get better. Your ego will also prevent you from being able to pivot and adapt to your situation to ultimately build relationships. And the last one is not being helpful. As Arnold Schwarzenegger says in his new documentary, we always need to find a way to be useful. So in our sales process, if we're not being useful, if we're not providing value, if we're not giving viable solutions to help people, again, it is going to be one of those things that results in our demise, our sales apocalypse. And that's exactly what we do not want. I want to present two situations to you. In one case, I'd like to present the idea of someone that is headed to their demise. This is a person that's not creating sales content, that's not fueling their social channels, that's not building up some sort of a YouTube following, someone that doesn't have valuable assets on their website to help people, a support channel, training videos, ebooks, videos. This is a big indicator of your demise. The second thing that's mentioned is the idea of listening. Now remember, you can't talk and listen at the same time. In order for there to be a productive conversation, listening has to occur, but listening has to turn into action. One of the methods that's been so effective for some of the most successful salespeople on the planet is the idea of listening all the way to the bank. When you listen, you can create an action plan and show that prospect or show that client that you're listening, that you validate their needs, and that ultimately your goal is to help them solve their problems. Now let's talk about ego for a second. Ego is one of those things that we've learned in history that can result in our demise. It's that hubris that makes us do things that we regret. It's the idea that we pursue things just to serve our needs and our inefficiencies and the things that we lack instead of focusing ourselves on other people's needs. And I think the best strategy for this is to make yourself an observer. If you feel an emotion, it's okay that that occurred, but observing that and then moving away from it is going to allow you to detach yourself from your ego. And as a result, you can go back to what your core purpose is, which is to help people. And in this famous Japanese philosophy of ikigai, when you combine your purpose, how you can help people, and how you can earn money, you ultimately find the balance in your life. And folks, I promise you this, there's no room for ego in that because it's not going to lead to your happiness or your client's happiness. And the last thing is always rooting yourself in service. In Eastern philosophy, they call this your dharma, which is your sense and your commitment to servitude to help other people. And I promise you this, if you look at the most successful people on the planet, they have rooted themselves in service to help other people. Well, the question is, how many people can you help? And how much money can you make in the process as a reward for your efforts? Thank you for watching this video, and subscribe to this channel if you'd like more content like this. And don't forget to give this video a like and leave a comment below of the next video that you want us to create.